Welcome to Design Santa Barbara. I am Michael Kurosh and today we are in Santa Barbara Design Center, where I'm excited to be sharing with you a fascinating look into some of the most incredible palaces and castles on earth. Last season we explored castles in France, Scotland, Bavaria and Portugal. This season we will be expanding our gaze, starting with Gyeongbokgung Palace in Seoul, South Korea. Built in 1395, Gyeongbokgung Palace was the main royal palace of the Joseon dynasty. Constructed by the king Taejo, it served as the seat of power for the Korean peninsula for over 200 years. In 1553, the palace was severely damaged by a fire and underwent a costly renovation at the behest of the king Maejong. In the late 16th century, the castle was overrun and partially destroyed by the invading Japanese forces. Rather than rebuilding the structure, the Korean throne was moved to another palace and Gyeongbokgung was left in ruins for nearly 300 years. In 1867, during the regency of Da Won-gon, the palace buildings were reconstructed and formed a massive complex with 330 buildings and 5,792 rooms. Standing on over 4.5 million square feet of land, Gyeongbokgung again became an iconic symbol for both the Korean nation and the Korean royal family. In 1895, after the assassination of Empress Myeongseong by Japanese agents, her husband, Emperor Gojong, left the palace. The imperial family never returned to Gyeongbokgung. During the first 3 decades of the 20th century, the palace was used for industrial exhibitions and as a symbol of Korean strength. During the peninsular's occupation, the Japanese government systematically dismantled the site, leaving only a few structures remaining. To diminish the grandeur of the site, Japanese constructed a massive government complex where the palace's gate once stood. By the end of the Korean War, only 3 of the original structures remained standing. In 1989, the Korean government established a 40-year plan to restore the palace to its original state. This began with destruction of the Japanese government structure and reconstruction of the palace gates and cloisters. By 2009, over 50% of the original structures had been restored. The reconstruction is on track to be completed by 2029. Today, Gyeongbokgung Palace is a treasured historic location and a vital tourism site in Seoul, South Korea. It houses the National Folk Museum and National Palace Museum. The royal changing of the guard occurs 5 times a day and is considered one of the top 5 attractions in Seoul. I had the pleasure of visiting this magnificent palace, and I can say that is one of the most beautiful locations in that part of the world. I encourage you to learn more about this majestic palace and possibly visit it yourself one day. When we come back, we will be heading to England to explore one of the most famous castles in the world. Stay tuned. There will be more Design Santa Barbara after the break. Hi, I'm Michael Kurosh and I would like to personally offer you a special thanks for supporting our show as we enter our 11th season. When you come into Santa Barbara Design Center and mention the show, we will pay the sales tax on your entire purchase, including rugs, sofas, sectionals, and accessories. Please come visit us at Santa Barbara Design Center, 410 Olive Street. And once again, thank you for supporting our show. This week on Michael's Minute, we are going to talk about modern and transitional rugs. At Santa Barbara Design Center, we have over 1,000 modern and transitional rugs at any given time in various sizes and colors. A modern or transitional rug can completely transform your living space. It can make a cold room comfortable or balance out an uneven contrast. We can also custom make the modern rug of your dreams, designed to your specification, taste, and color. And at Santa Barbara Design Center, we can do it faster, better, for less. That's why the top designers in the world use our modern and transitional rugs. To see our vast collection or start designing your custom masterpiece, come visit us at Santa Barbara Design Center, 410 Olive Street.
Welcome to Rugs & More. We provide the West Coast with the most comprehensive collection of new Oriental and antique rugs. Rugs are solid art investments and often become cherished family treasures. Our limitless inventory will warm up your home. Exotic or traditional, tribal or modern, our rugs weave stories through intricate patterns, compelling colors, and touchable materials. Number one in Santa Barbara for over 20 years. Visit us today at Rugs & More, 410 Olive Street in Santa Barbara.
Welcome back to Design Santa Barbara. This week we are continuing our tradition of profiling the greatest palaces and castles on earth. Now let's head to the ancient island of England and learn about Windsor Castle. Originally built in the 11th century after the Norman invasion of England by William the Conqueror, since the time of Henry I, Windsor Castle has been used by the reigning monarch of the United Kingdom and its longest occupied palace in Europe. Windsor Castle was built as a moat and bailey, with 3 wards surrounding a central mount. Gradually replaced with stone fortifications, the castle withstood a prolonged siege during the First Barons' War at the start of the 13th century. Henry III built a luxurious royal palace within the castle during the middle of that century. Edward III went further, rebuilding the palace to make an even grander set of buildings in what would become, quote, the most expensive secular building projects of the entire Middle Ages in England. Edward's core design lasted through the Tudor period, during which Henry VIII and Elizabeth I made increasing use of the castle as a royal court and center for diplomatic entertainment. Windsor Castle survived the tumultuous period of the English Civil War, when it was used as a military headquarters by paramilitary forces and a prison for Charles I. At the restoration of the monarchy in 1660, Charles II rebuilt much of the Windsor Castle with the help of the architect Hugh May, creating a set of extravagant Baroque interiors that are still admired to this day. After a period of neglect during the 18th century, George III and George IV renovated and rebuilt Charles II's palace at colossal expenses, producing the current design of the state apartments, full of Rococo, Gothic, and Baroque furnishings. Queen Victoria made a few minor changes to the castle, which became the center for royal entertainment for much of her reign. Windsor Castle was used as a refuge by the royal family during the Luftwaffe bombing campaigns of the Second World War and survived a massive fire in 1992. Today, it is the preferred weekend home of Queen Elizabeth II and was the site of the royal wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Windsor Castle sees approximately 1 million visitors per year and is open for tours when the Queen is not in residence. The Royal Art Gallery at Windsor Castle is considered one of the last great European nobility collections. It contains works by Leonardo da Vinci, Van Dyck, Gainsborough, and Rubens, along with decorative arts, drawings, and a vast collection of historic photographs. All in, there are over 250,000 pieces in Royal Art Gallery collection. I had the pleasure of visiting Windsor Castle some time ago and can say from experience that it is one of the most impressive locations in all of the United Kingdom. Taking the long walk towards the castle is a journey all on its own. When we come back, we will be exploring an Eastern European castle with a fascinating past. Stay tuned. There is more Design Santa Barbara after the break. This week on Michael's Minutes, we are going to talk about sectionals. At Santa Barbara Design Center, we will custom build a sectional to your specifications at our factory right here in California. No room is too big or too small. Our line of comfort sectionals are built to the exact size and shape you need for your room. Let you and your family enjoy the luxury of angel hair wrap, the most comfortable seating in the world. Choose from multiple colors and stain-resistant fabrics that can withstand children, pets, and spills. But don't just take my word for it. Come into Santa Barbara Design Center at 410 Olive Street and feel the comfort of a new sectional for yourself. We live in one of the most beautiful locations in the world. I've raised my kids here. I love it here. What we offer at Santa Barbara Design Center isn't just furniture. It's a chance to turn a house into a home. What may look like a deal online, it's very different when it shows up. It's something to be said for feeling it before it becomes part of your life. We are here to help guide you through this wonderful process. We are Santa Barbara Design Center. Come start your journey with us. This week on Design FYI, we're going to talk about sofas and the unknown mistakes people make. Did you know average American spends 46 minutes a day in a car, but they spend 5 hours and 4 minutes on average on a sofa? So why would you go out there and spend tens of thousands of dollars for something you use for 46 minutes and then go ahead and buy something cheap that you sit on it for 5 hours and 4 minutes? At Santa Barbara Design Center, we create you a custom sofa that is made for you specifically and to your shape and size and comfort and your family. So when you're sitting and watching TV or talking and conversing with your friends, you're sitting on actually something that represents you. Your car represents you, why shouldn't your sofa? Thank you for joining us on Design FYI this week, and please come see me at Santa Barbara Design Center, 4th and Olive, and let me help you find the right sofa for you and your family. Welcome back to Design Santa Barbara. This week we are exploring the great palaces and castles of the world. Our last profile for this episode will be the Prague Castle in the Czech Republic. In 870 AD, the Church of the Virgin Mary in Prague had a wall built around it. In the years following, more structures and walls were built and Prague Castle began to take shape. King Ottokar II of Bohemia improved fortifications and rebuilt the royal palace for the purpose of representation and housing. In the 14th century, under the reign of Charles IV, the royal palace was rebuilt in Gothic style and castle fortifications were strengthened. From the 15th to 17th century, the castle was largely uninhabited and was severely damaged by fire. During the Bohemian Wars, the castle was damaged and left to deteriorate. Major restorations did not occur until the later half of the 18th century, at the behest of Empress Maria Theresa. From that point onward, the castle was once again used as the seat of the power in Czechoslovakia. In 1918, Prague Castle became the official residence of the President of the Czech Republic. It was used as a seat of the power during its World War II occupation and during the Cold War era communist government. Since the end of the Cold War, Prague Castle has been reestablished as a presidential palace. The castle buildings represent virtually every architectural style of the last millennium. Prague Castle includes Gothic St. Vitus Cathedral, Romanesque Basilica of St. George, a monastery, and several palaces, gardens, and defense towers. One of the most interesting legends about Prague Castle is the hidden jewel room. Only known to select individuals, this secret location within the castle houses the crown jewels of Bohemia. These treasured relics have been largely kept out of the public eye, with only 13 public exhibits in the last 100 years. I have had the pleasure of visiting Prague Castle on numerous occasions and can say from experience that is one of the most interesting locations in Europe. I hope you have enjoyed this tour of 3 of the most incredible palaces and castles in the world. I encourage you to learn more about these locations and visit them yourself. Thank you for joining us. Today on Design FYI, we're going to talk about what not to buy when you're going shopping for rugs. Most big outlets or national chains, they sell nowadays hand-tufted rugs. This sounds like it's hand knotted, it's done by hand, but actually they are not. It's called hand-tufted and is actually a gun that rolls the wool around the warp, and they are not good rugs at all. So this is a sample we're having here for you to see. Anything that has a backing like this, flip your rugs over at home, see if it has a backing, is absolutely not good. So what it does is it hides what they did below this thing, which is a latex glue, which actually is toxin. And if you have got any rugs over the net, I hate to say it, over the net, because it's easy to sell and they're inexpensive, you buy these things over the internet. So when it comes to your house, they smell. Have you noticed that? They smell more like a gasoline or more like a diesel because they don't let the latex cure. And the latex that glues this wool to this backing smells a lot. On top of that, they shed quite a lot. The wool is cheap because they need to be inexpensive and they shed. I would not recommend you to get anything, again, that has a backing and is glued because it comes apart very easily. It is temporary. It is not a green product because they wear very quickly, end up in the fill, and just basically as a landfill junk we are adding to our planet. The things I would recommend you to get, unlike these things that have backing, is the rugs that they have nuts to them. So as what to buy, I highly recommend you to get some rugs that they are hand knotted. And how you can see, flip it to the back and you can see the knots are done individually and each one is slightly different than the next one because they're done by hand, and the intensity of the wool and the pull they have, the weaver, makes them look different. Also the sides are done by hand. That you can see very easily. If you want to buy a real rug, please come to Santa Barbara Design Center and I can gladly help you. Thank you for joining us on Design FYI, Santa Barbara Design Center, Fort and Olive. Hi, I'm Michael Kurosh and today we are in Santa Barbara Design Center heading south to Carpinteria. Carpinteria is a beautiful beach town south of Santa Barbara, and today we're going to go visit my dear friend Leesa Wilson-Goldmuntz, and she has a wonderful project at the beach on the bluffs, and I'm really excited to see what she has done today. Good morning, Leesa.
Michael, welcome. How are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. How are you?
I'm ever so well.
That was a beautiful drive I had here.
It's gorgeous, right?
Amazing looking. It just looks like somewhere not in California. I don't know what it is, but it's beautiful.
Well, we are in California.
It's beautiful.
Carpinteria specifically.
Carpinteria.
Those gorgeous homes on the ocean.
I can see the ocean from here. It's beautiful. So what is the story?
The house looks very old, but it's not. It was actually built in the mid-'80s. The family who's owned it for about 15 years recently lost their matriarch.
Oh, sorry.
And this was a much-loved family home for them. They have asked me to freshen it. They are ready to let it go and move on, which of course for a lot of people is emotional, as you know. We felt like it really needed a facelift. So we've done that and I want to show you.
Love to see it,
Great.
please.
Come on in.
Thank you.
As I said, a lot of times that's emotional. It was built to look old, 35 years ago, which meant dark and a lot of old beams and heavy curtains. What we've done is made it fresh and bright, so it really reflects 2018 instead of something that would have been in the Cotswolds 200 years ago.
From outside, it kind of looked, but from the colors, it didn't. You did a wonderful job. Again, we talked about I have been here 20 years ago, and it was very dark. As you say, you were lucky, like you go into a really old chateau, and it was
Right.
really heavy. You come in, it's like airy, and actually the white color you painted makes everything look taller and fresher and younger. Very
And
nice.
that's what we've done. We've painted all of the beams that were very dark white. We've replaced chandeliers, and we've just exceeded the limits of the old dark things. And we've brought in California-centric, relaxed.
Beautiful colors, as I say. I mean, I just walked in and it looks, everything is like fresh, looks like ocean almost, like, you know, you're next to the beachy look.
Well, so often these homes are second homes for people, and their first homes are quite formal or somewhere else. We liked the idea of this being what I like to think of as cashmere casual.
Very true.
Let's go see the living room, because I think it's
I'm
just
excited to
really
see that.
it's luxuriously comfortable.
I remember it was very dark and heavy, but let's
Well,
see.
it isn't anymore.
All right.
The living room steps down and you get a wonderful view of the ocean, but you also have these beautiful beams, a beautiful fireplace, lots of seating room. I just love this room.
This is beautiful. I mean, it looks like so light, airy, and looks like you're in a high-end resort. I mean, I don't want to say it like that, but it's so clean and neat.
Well,
Beautiful.
You want it to be relaxing. You want it to feel like you're in a resort, because if you're here on the weekend or you've had a busy day, you want to come in here and just
forget
sit.
about it.
Right.
Sit down there and just beautiful sofas. I love those chairs. They're just beautiful.
Thank you. I actually got those at your place.
Oh, thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. Yes, I remember these. They're beautiful.
Well, and you do such a good job, as we've talked about before, with custom sofas. So when I called you and I said I want 2 7-foot sofas, I want them to be white, I want slope arms. Look what you delivered.
Thank
well
you
done.
so much. Yes, they look beautiful here. And that's why you're successful, because you make everything specifically for that spot. Whereas a lot of designers don't do that. I
Well.
should say that too. So that's what makes you special. I mean, you design this thing, looks like flawless.
The things that were here, which were beautiful and done, again, a couple decades ago, were lovely and they were beautiful quality, but they were of a different era. Things were big and things were dark, and there were lots of heavy antiques. And that's just not how we're living today. So when we're ready to move on, when we're ready to let something go, it's important for other people to see a house as it needs to live today. And I think it was important too for a family that's letting go to be able to see the house in a new light, because it helps. It's like, it's not ours anymore, we can let this go. I think the other thing we always talk about is in large rooms that don't have a central area, how do you do seating arrangements? So it's not just 2 sofas in front of a fireplace and we've neglected everything else. This has seating for a vignette here with some people. You can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7 easy.
7 people. You can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have 2 people here who want to cozy up at the fireplace.
16 people sitting.
7 and 7, 14, 15, 16. Notice what we've also done in the hallway with the 2 other benches.
ottomans.
They can bring those down here. Easily an entertaining space then for 18 people at the drop of a hat.
If they invite me, I stand. It's not a problem, you know.
Having said that, if there's only 3 or 4 people here, you don't feel vastly overwhelmed. You can have those people right there and you feel like you're still cozy.
Beautiful, that's absolutely true. What I like about what you said is, you know, you did the house completely different, so the person who's selling it, it just feels like, no, okay, this is not, emotional attachment is not there, so they let it go. And the good thing for us is the styles change every 7 to 10 years. Imagine everybody sticks with the old things, it would be out of business.
Probably. So the other really fun room is the family room. Some people call it the family room. Somebody called it the game room, the bar.
The den, whatever it is. Let's
the
go
den.
check it out.
Let's go that way. So, not a bad view.
It says it all.
Beautiful ocean. This room was more like a hunting lodge. So we removed the antler chandelier, even though it was well loved. And we just, again, made it more relaxed. We reviewed the seating and realized that a sectional worked really well for the way people live today. And TV in the cabinet, but again, a really great fireplace. It's a big room. We'll take a little tour.
I like the sectional, actually. This is just about every family room you do, you put a sectional in.
Well, I, again, as you know, have 4 kids and 3 dogs. And when my family was growing up, this is what we liked to do. We loved watching TV and snuggling together. And I think that just says, welcome home.
Beautiful.
So the difference between this room and the living room is that this feels a lot more cozy. And there isn't as many vignettes. This is where you snuggle. So we have just good seats, and we've got a really great big seating area. And things aren't precious. Things are, throw
Till
yourself
you fit
on
a lot
it.
of people in it,
You
though.
can fit a bunch of people in
I
here.
was looking at it, there's plenty of people you can fit in here. It's a big family.
A big family. And again, the bar, we can circle around. Then we've also put over here in the corner a little place for games, because again, it is that type of room. We have 5 people at the bar. We've got a place for checkers and chess. And you've still got a nice big alleyway to get in and out of the French doors. And we've just made it a little less serious than the main rooms, and relaxing, and
look at the ocean.
And again, it's pretty much all about the view.
It's heaven. It's amazingly beautiful, and you made such a nice actually change. So we have seen the photos of before and after.
Yeah.
The selection of the pillows you did, they're quite interesting. I mean, you would think about it, you know, why would you pick that? And look at how beautiful they look together.
There was a very well-known Southern designer called Charles Foudray a long time ago. And he was hilarious. He said, darling, it's not about the match, it's about the mix.
Oh.
And I always,
you have 6 different type of pillows there. I mean, it's interesting.
But we've kept the blue and white vernacular. We've just made them different sizes and different patterns.
They have some sort of ethnic look to them too. It's beautiful, very nice.
Thank you.
Leesa, I want to thank you very much again. It's always a pleasure having you on our show, and this beautiful, breathtaking property, it just tops it off. Thank you.
Michael, you're so welcome. It's always fun for me. And I like sharing what I do. I think it helps people imagine the possibilities for what they can do.
Thank you. That's what I love working with Leesa. She always has something new and something exciting, and her projects are always beautiful. Thank you for joining us. See you next week on Design Santa Barbara.